Yo, 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 what's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? Third intermission podcast. We are back on the air. The playoffs, they're finally here. They're finally here. The mana is flowing through the postseason of hockey. It's giving me chills. I'll stop my forearm to show you how excited I am for that. Finally, playoff hockey coming through. It's Avery here filling in the host chair. Once again for Dave. We got Troy. We got Jason here in the cut. Jason, what's going on, sir? How you doing?
Yo, I'm good. Just watch Winnipeg score now and make it 6-3 against Colorado. This crazy. I'm just here. I'm happy for playoff hockey, man. Finally, like it's about time. Other than that, everything is good. I hope everybody's good on the outside.
Oh, of course, man. Yeah, time is taping right now. Winnipeg's up 5-3 in game one, the first period over Colorado. It's a wild, wild game. Yeah, right there. 6-3 Winnipeg. Oh boy. Yeah, this game is they're going wild. Troy, how you doing, sir?
I am doing well, thank you. Just sitting here at the kitchen table, just filling out some school forms for tomorrow. I was watching the Winnipeg Colorado game, but I'm using a Google Pixel. My Zoom still acts funny, so I can't really do both at the same time right now. So, but yeah, I do get the notification still. So I do, yes, I am seeing that Colorado they're getting avalanched right now. So we'll have to see what kind of adjustments they make for game two.
Right, yeah. Right now, Winnipeg is exploiting that Colorado goaltending right now. Oh my goodness, it's ugly right now. It's getting ugly. It's bad right now in Winnipeg for the Avalanche, and of course, unfortunately, for most of the podcast, it was bad times in Boston for Game One of Maple
Oh
Leafs
boy.
and the Bruins. As is tradition with Toronto sports teams, you do not win game ones for the past decade or two, no matter if it's the NBA, the NHL, the Tiddlywinks All-Star game. Game ones do not go well for Toronto-based franchises. I'll start with you, Jason. What are your thoughts on the Bruins just hammering Toronto in game one at TD Garden?
I was expecting the hammering in game one. I was expecting it. Like last year, they lost to Tampa 7-3 in game one. So this wasn't any different. The thing I was just looking for certain components because we found out earlier in the day Nylander wasn't playing. So our third line wouldn't be as physical, as big as Boston's third line. Montgomery played an excellent role, like in terms of the way he rolled out his lines yesterday. Because that third line abused our third line yesterday and did a lot of damage to our third line. It was Robertson, Holmberg, and I can't remember the other winger on the third line right now. I think it was Jan Krok on the third line yesterday. And yeah, that didn't work out at all. Boston, DeBrusque, and those guys just hammered those guys in our own zone and just bodied us along the boards and were more hungrier on the board battles. Now, the component I was looking at mostly, especially in dealing with Boston, was the physicality. And I'm gonna go ahead and say that the Leafs definitely checked the box with the physicality in terms of, the physicality and laying out hits and being physical and not being pushed around. They did a good job in that department. They made some mental errors like zone entries, transitional passes were sloppy. They were playing sloppy in their own end. Me personally, I was happy with the start. I know Troy was saying in our group chat that he wasn't really happy with the start, but for me, just seeing the way they came out structured, creating a little bit of offense in the first little bit before Boston ended up going ahead 1-0 off that two-on-one rush. Yeah, I was happy with the start. I was happy with the scoring chances that we got. I think that if we didn't make those mistakes, the score would have been maybe a little bit different if we were able to capitalize on our high danger chances that we had yesterday. Colorado just scored, so they're down by 2, so there's time left. It was just a shot from the point and it got tipped in left. How do you pronounce his name? They got him from Montreal. Lekanen?
Or looking in.
Lekanen. Yeah, he
Yeah.
just I think who shot it from this point? Rantanen. No, Makar. Makar shot it from the point and Aturi Lethikin scored off the tip. So yeah, Colorado's down by 2. But yeah, sorry. Going back to what I was saying
Hmm.
yesterday, in regards to the hockey game. Yeah, the Leafs definitely competed physically. They just got outchanced. You know what I mean, as far as having the better grade scoring opportunities that Boston had. There were a couple of mistakes like on our back end, like with the DeBrusque goal, where it was the cross crease pass. You know, like Edmondson instead of playing his stick should have played the body. You know, like and Reeves should know when to go in for a hit versus when not to go into it for a hit. Because when he went in for that hit on the first Boston goal, he ended up pitching Edmondson against the board. So it's just a little bit of just cleaning up the sloppy things. I think the Leafs come out in game two, we get the split. We're still winning in six. It looks like Nylander is going to be in on Monday too, based off of like what I'm seeing on Twitter and stuff like that. And if he's in, then yeah, we're definitely going to be able now to match Boston's third line by having Nylander out there, just a guy that can carry the puck, a guy that's so good in transition, a guy that you can use on the penalty kill to help you generate some offense, a guy who can drive his own line and score goals, score big goals. So Boston's gonna have their hands full Monday because they're gonna come out to a very like boosted Maple Leafs team. It's not like the Leafs have gotten smacked and never come back before. They've gotten smacked a lot and they've came back a lot and they realize what's at stake here. So yeah, it was a bad game overall, like in terms of the outcome and the score, but I'm okay. You still start Samson off game two. You know what I'm saying? You maybe move Matthews down to the third line to play with Nylander and Holmberg, and you move Yarncroc up to the second line if McMahon is not available, and you go. You let it rip. Like you let it rip. You know what's at stake. You don't want to come back to Toronto down two. You know, you want to try and get the split at the very least. That was the objective. The objective was to go to Boston and get the split, not go to Boston and win two. Especially knowing with Nylander like what happened. And I just want to take the time out to shout out Tree Living because Tree Living is doing a great job managing like injuries and managing his team as far as that aspect. Because if you look at when Marner went out, he could have easily like got Marner suited up sooner, but it's more about making sure guys have rest and they're ready. You know what I mean? Not seeing Edmondson like late in the season to give him rest. That was good because now he's rejuvenated. And there's times in that game where Edmondson looked like he was so calm and so stable on the penalty kill, like shooting pucks down the ice, making sure it's not going over the glass, causing another penalty and stuff like that. And ideally, like, yeah, the Leafs took stupid penalties yesterday, but they had to get that out of their system. Game one is like they have stinkers in game one, and this is the second year that their game one was a stinker. And we all know what's gonna happen in game two. The Leafs are gonna come out flying, going back to Toronto tied 1-1. And that's just the bottom line.
Stone Cold Jason out here laying it down with his thoughts in game one. Sure, what are your impressions of game one? I know one of the big things was the second period was when things really went awry for the Maple Leafs, and they had just major issues stopping Jake DeBrusque, who had 3 points in the game one victory. Troy.
Well, I'm not completely thrilled with how the Leafs played in game one. I'm not worried. I'm not pushing the panic button because it's game one. There's still, at minimum, three other games to turn this shit around. From from my perspective, from what I saw watching the game, um, you can tell that they play different when they're missing a key person out of their lineup. Like you can like during that stretch in the regular season when Marner was out, you can tell that they were a team that looked kind of lost a little bit without that kind of offensive direction. And it was the same thing in game one without Nylander, who was out with undisclosed whatever they want to call it. Yeah, like Nylander's offense was definitely missed. It didn't seem like there was a lot of punch. Like it seemed like they were very. It was a very lackluster performance. Like there wasn't a whole lot of positives that I could find from last night, or sorry, from game one. Um, the parade to the penalty, like we say this every year against either Boston or Tampa or whoever. The parade to the penalty box needs to stop. Like if you're gonna go, take somebody with you, make it a 4-on-4, or at the very least, I mean, slot if you have to. If that's what it takes to get a call to get you going on the power play, cool. Um, I think some of those goals that went in on Sammy weren't really his fault. I mean, when you've got to peer through, several sets of legs and around several bodies, like that's never a good thing. And considering that he's got to look around his own teammates is concerning. Um, I know, nobody gets behind you in terms of like that's a term that most defensive coaches and stuff preach, but at the same time, like give your goalies his eyes back. Like if you're gonna stand in front like that, be committed to block the shot. That or get the hell out of the way. Let him see it. Give him a chance to stop it.
Yeah, I agree. I
Um,
agree. There was a lot of that going on yesterday, Troy. Like they were screening Samsonov like and not blocking the shots. You're right. Either you're gonna block the shot or you're not gonna block it. Sorry about that.
no worries. And there was I don't know if you guys have seen it. There was a point in that game, and this might have been just because of a bad line change or something. Keith decided he was gonna try. I saw Ryan Reeves on a line with Austin Matthews, and immediately I scratched my head and I'm like, what is going on here? Why
They
is this
created a
happening?
scoring
Why
chance. They created a
they
scoring
did.
chance.
They
They
did.
did, but I was definitely hoping that Ryan Reeves would be glued to that bench, especially after that expert pick he put on Edmonton,
That led to the 1-0 goal.
leading to that Boston goal. I
Yeah.
mean,
On the
like,
20.
dude,
Yeah.
like he's wearing your own jersey. Why are you trying to hit him? It's not practice. Like, this is a playoff game, bro. Like, get it together. Like, I was hoping he would sit for that costing mistake, but what do I know, right? Like, I'm just
No.
a dude on a podcast. I am one of those millions of Leaf fans who apparently know better than Sheldon Keefe, but I guess that's why he gets paid the big bucks and I'm on the radio. Um, yeah, like there wasn't a lot of like I said, there wasn't a lot of positives to take from game one. Very listless, very lifeless. Um, and honestly, I don't know if this is the right set of players he had that he dressed for game one. I'm hoping to see maybe a light up change. There was a player who did kind of impress me from game one was Nick Robertson. Like you couldn't miss him. That kid was everywhere. Like
Yeah, he was.
he
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 had a
came
great
he
game.
came to play because like he's one of those kids where it's like he gets benched for different stretches here and there, but like when he gets put into the lineup, like he gives you a reason to be like, yeah, that's why you put me in the lineup. So it's nice to see that that at least he's one of these Leafs who are taking it seriously, and just plays for that buzzer goal. So props to him. I feel like Sammy will have a bounce back game. But yeah, if we have any chance of extending this series to six, we have to stay out of the box. 100%.
That's key though. But and I watched the media press with the Leafs too, and it looks like they know that. Like the way they're talking, they're very responsible. Like you know what saying and doing are two different things. We know, but like they acknowledge that was the main reason. The second period was terrible. You know what I mean? As far as going to the box, being undisciplined with your stick. Bertuzzi took a high sticking. Domi went to the box. But I noticed when Domi went to the box after he hacked Marchand on his hand, on his wrist with the stick, I noticed like Marchand wasn't really, he was in the game, but it was more like the brush line and like they did a good job in neutralizing Pasternak and fucking excuse my language, Marchand. Like, you know what I mean? Like Connor Dewar, he had a great game. Like that guy played so well. Like I was happy for that guy yesterday to see him play like that. And he had to play some responsible minutes last night. He was on the PK a lot. You know, I think he had an apple last night on the line by the fourth, on a goal by the fourth line. And Revo was in on that goal too, right? Like so that fourth line to me is playing the way it needs to play. It's the first three lines. And we all know why the first three, because normally when the first three lines play well, it's because you have like all your guys in the lineup who need to be healthy. So you have Marner, your core, you know what I mean? You have McMahon. Like when all those guys are in the lineup, like everybody just plays well, you know? And us getting Nylander is definitely going to be a boost. And when we get McMahon, that I believe is when we're going to have the advantage in the series, no matter what the score is in the series. That's when we're going to have the advantage. When we have McMahon, the big boy from Alberta, Avery, Bobby McMahon. I love that guy, you know, like, but yeah, once we have that guy in the series, yeah, it's going to be a problem still. So yeah, you're right. Oh wow. So while we were talking, Kyle Connor scored, and now Colorado just scored. It's 7-5 with 7:36 to go. Holy crow,
Holy
Makar. This game is nuts. This is the best game in the first round by far right now. There's no other game that's been better than this game.
And this game is far from over. This game, I know by the time this episode goes up, it'll be long done. But watching right now in the moment, a 7-5 game with 7:36 to go in the third period. This reminds me of game one of Edmonton and Calgary when Calgary was up 6-1 and Calgary blew the 5-goal lead, and that game ended 9-6 Calgary. So I'm getting those vibes right now from that game.
Yeah, this is definitely gonna be one of those games, man. It's gonna be, and it's not like Winnipeg was up like by 5 goals. It's just been like, I'm gonna hit you. All right, I got hit back, so I'm gonna hit you. Like, you know what I mean? And Winnipeg was winning the fight right now, basically. And Colorado is still getting up, and they're like, well, we're not out of the fight yet. We're still gonna hit you until we can't hit you no more. Like, you gotta love playoff hockey for this, man.
No,
You
of
gotta love
course.
it.
No, I could not agree more, Jason. Going from the Toronto Boston series to a few more series have gotten underway. Mainly those in the Eastern Conference. Other series that got underway. The Islanders and Carolina, they got underway. The Panthers Lightning got underway, and then the Capitals and Rangers got underway. I'll ask both of you guys, what other series that's kicked off so far you guys paying attention to?
Probably this Colorado Winnipeg series. I mean, I want to see goals. I don't want to see boring ass defensive hockey. I mean, yes, defense helps win you championships, but so does scoring goals. Um, yeah, seeing this many goals put up already, what is that, 12 goals? And you had 6 goals in like the opening 12 minutes. Like that to me is exciting hockey. Like wide open, knock them down, drag them out kind of hockey. None of this boring kind of New York Islanders / New Jersey Devils.
I was waiting for it. Wait, as you plug the Islanders, I just want to say to Sammy and my boy Andrew at work, congratulations to your Islanders. Sorry, Troy, I had to shout those guys out.
No worries. Yeah, in the West, yeah, definitely this Colorado Winnipeg series just because it's so much firepower to go around, and I just love watching McKinnon just blaze down the ice. Um, the Edmonton series, just because it's Connor McDavid. Why not? Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Zach Hyman. Um, I want to see how Evander Kane does because I'm Avery. I think you said something like the man played half the season hurt, and they just kind of let him.
Well, not even half. He's been playing the entire season with sports hernia, and like that to me is one thing. Is like I understand, yes, hockey players want to play, hockey players want to give their all, but I find that so odd as to how a player who's at 65%, you're letting him play it, especially when you can get relief, you can get money off the books on LTIR. I don't understand why Ken Holland didn't put Kane on LTIR to get some help and to get some money. That to me is just baffling.
Because Ken Holland's living in a different timeline where he thinks Evander Kane is Patrice Bergeron and can free throw there. That's why that happened.
Oh man,
And
no.
Evander Kane was probably like, you know what? Maybe I can be like Bergeron. Let me see if I can play for this. His production has like Evander Kane right now is a two shells of his former self. Like he is not as good as he used to be, but I mean he's still effective for sure. Like I'm by no means am I calling him washed, but I mean like I think at this stage in his career, he's a different type of player than what Edmonton had originally signed him to be. Um, but yeah, other than that, other predictions, I'm not like I love hockey in general. So I mean, like I'm going to be watching as much of it as possible, with like if my work schedule allows. Um, but yeah, I think the other uh, series I'm looking at Winnipeg, Colorado, and the Edmonton one for sure.
How about you, Jason?
I'm gonna try and keep my eye on all the series. I only missed 2 games so far, and those were the games today. I seen the outcome though. So Florida won. Florida's up 1, and the Rangers game I watched bits and pieces of. I didn't watch it all, but I already know that series is a wash. I'm not really interested in that series. I like this Colorado Winnipeg series, especially after today. I wasn't expecting it, so I'm gonna try and watch these games here. I'm interested in the Dallas series too. The Dallas series is gonna be good. Dallas Vegas, um, the Vancouver series and the Preds. That we were talking about that on Friday. Like I think you said Avery, you like the Preds, and I think I said I like the Nucks or something like that in that
Sounds,
series.
yeah, I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. So that's gonna be a series I want to watch. I want to see if O'Reilly still can be that guy. Like he left a lot here. He doesn't really have the same firepower he had down here. You know what I'm saying? In comparison, being realistic, you know what I'm saying? But he has like a different team that's built for this type of journey. You know what I mean? Based off of the players on that roster. Like McDonough, they got from Tampa. O'Reilly's been there. Shen's been there. Like, so they have guys that's been there that could, hold the fort, right? So they're going to be an interest. That's going to be an interesting series. And Vancouver's hot right now, right? So, yeah, that's going to be a great series. The Islanders and Carolina, I'm gonna watch, but that's gonna be like a boring series. Like it's gonna be slow paced. You know what I mean? Like the Eastern Conference series are gonna be slow paced. Like except the Toronto Boston. Either one team is gonna win by a lot, or it's gonna be fast paced, but not as fast paced as this Winnipeg, Colorado. You know what I'm saying? Um, Let me see. And what else am I missing series wise, bro? I know I'm missing something. Or did I catch it? Oh yeah, I am. The Oilers and Kings. Yeah, I'm gonna watch that series because I just want to see like how Edmonton comes out and plays in the first round. Like this is a must-win series for Edmonton. Avery, we have to address the elephant in the room. Edmonton needs this series more importantly because if they don't win this series, there's going to be a lot of changes coming up. Like number one, Evander Kane is going to be gone, like you said, and then some other changes are going to come down. So for Edmonton and the Kings, I'm just going to watch the series to see the outcome. But then Avery, you got to worry about the Kings because the Kings are built in a certain way too. Like they have Philip Deneau down the middle. You know what I mean? They have a great backhand, Drew Doughty still being there, the emergence of Quentin Byfield, shout him out. He's doing a lot of good things out there. So like LA is not really a pushover, but on paper, the Oilers having McDavid, Hyman scoring what, 54. Dryden style, those guys, they have those guys. Ekholm, like they have the Corey Perry, they have the pieces to be able to slaughter the Kings. I want to see like how they come out in this first round. This series should not go 7, Avery. What are your thoughts?
I completely agree, Jason. Watching Edmonton LA, that's a series in which it should be a series that goes Edmonton's way in 5 games or less. And you're right. The team does have Philip Deneau. They still have Anze Kopitar. They have Quentin Byfield, who's emerged as a future face of this franchise. They still have Trevor Moore. Trevor Moore, who's always found a way to score against the Oilers. But again, this team has Hyman, McDavid, Nugent Hopkins, Draisaitl. They've got a much better bottom six right now. You've seen the production finally start to come from Adam Henrique. You put guys together like Ryan McLeod and Dylan Holloway together, and shocker, they do well together because skill playing with skill produces. Who would have thunk that? Like that's a thing that to the surprise of no one. That should work well. So yeah, the Edmonton and Stuart Skinner has looked really well over the past few months here. So yes, it should be at Edmonton in 5 series because if things don't go their way, for sure, there's definitely going to be change. We already know that this Ken Holland's last year as GM. It's been rumored that Jeff Jackson wants to go younger for a GM, which he should. It should be younger, even though people have talked about Mark Hunter. From what I've heard, Jackson wants to go in a younger direction, a newer direction for his new GM, which makes the most sense. It's gonna be roster change for sure. So yeah, it's gonna be a very different team next year unless they do go deep. But yeah, no, it should be Edmonton 5, guys. I'd be shocked if they don't end this series rather quickly, fellas.
Do you feel confident about the goaltending from Edmonton, and who do you feel has the advantage in that series? Because being in Toronto, I don't really get to see like analysis or coverage like of like the Oilers like this
Mhm.
series, right? I'm just seeing mostly like the Eastern Conference series. You know what I mean? But I don't get to see that in-depth analysis. So who do you feel, Avery? I'm gonna ask you, has the goaltending advantage in this series, in
Oh,
your opinion?
Oh, it's easily Edmonton. It is easily the Royals right now. It's Stuart Skinner, and I know they're not going to turn to him, but Calvin Pickard has played well as Skinner's backup. But no, this is definitely the edge goes to Edmonton. I mean, yes, Cam Talbot. We mentioned there's in our Spaces room. Cam Talbot had a bit of a revival earlier this year with his career, but no, when it comes to a series, the edge absolutely goes towards Stuart Skinner. He's got his glove hand has looked really well the past few weeks here. He's controlling rebounds much better. So no, the edge is easily over towards Skinner than Cam Talbot in this series, Jason.
All right, you heard it here from Avery. Avery likes Edmonton in 5 or less. I agree. I definitely agree. I think me and Avery like agree, and we have the same sentiments for the Oilers. I agree. Like this series should be less than 5 games. Edmonton's way. You see Edmonton come out flying. Guys like McDavid, who's going to be passionate. That power play, anyhow, it gets a chance to score. They added Corey Perry to that power play now to make it more lethal and more dangerous. You know, you bring up guys like Warren Fogle, a big body who's physical from Markham. I've always loved that guy, Warren Fogle.
Mm-hmm.
And just having his physicality, and because the playoffs, you got to earn every inch on the ice. So yeah, the Oilers are gonna come out fired up, man, and ready to go, man. I'm looking
No,
forward to the series for sure.
yeah, it's gonna be really fun. I know we'll have more. I know what next episode we'll have more talk about with the postseason with the series here. But I do want to before you head off here, I do want to talk about quickly the P Dubs game in Montreal. Montreal and Toronto. Toronto won 3-2 in overtime to be the first team in PWHL history to clinch a playoff spot. They're still on top of the league, number one. I want to mention because first of all, another world record was broken for attendance in women's hockey. 21,105 fans filled the Bell Center to watch Toronto and Montreal play. I thought that was amazing. And once again, we said it for a long time on this show, guys, that hey, people want to watch women's hockey. There's an audience for it, there's a demand for it. And another game which you once again fill another NHL sized arena, it's a great thing, guys.
Oh, for sure. That's massive for women's hockey, bro. Shout out Sarah Nurse. I heard she had a couple big goals in that game. Shout her out, man. She's really out there, man. It's a good representation of black hockey in its finest form. So yeah, shout out Sarah Nurse for sure. And
Mhm.
shout out all the other ladies as well, too, because hey man, they're out there breaking records, man, and smashing records and shit and selling out arenas. Batman, man, hey, you guys that have all the money out there, I hope you're paying attention, man. You might want to put some money behind these women, man. Real shit. I love it.
And Toronto on top of the league, 38 points. Montreal behind at 35, Minnesota 35, Ottawa 30. So it's looking like I know Boston's right there behind Ottawa. And New York now, it appears New York is done. So it appears that the 5 teams who are contending right now, Toronto, Montreal, Minnesota, Ottawa, Boston is right there. So it's gonna be a dogfight between Ottawa and Boston to get the number 4 seed. But Toronto this year, they've looked really well. They're maintaining their place on top of the league. And full credit again. We've mentioned her name before on for what she's done because hey, age, nothing but a number. We've seen players in different leagues because we know how hockey likes to sports in general likes to say once you reach 32, 33, you're an old person. I think it's the funniest thing in the world with hockey. But Natalie Spooner, and she's been having a phenomenal campaign with Toronto, leading this team in scoring. And she's still here. She is still one of the best players Canada has and Toronto has. We saw her do her thing at the World Championships. So the Toronto PWHL Toronto, that's a scary team right now in terms of what they got up front.
Yeah, Sarah Nurse and Spooner, bro. That's like a piece of Team Canada, bro. Olympic hockey team. That's problems, bro. That's problems up front.
No,
Both those women can score. Then they have talent on the offensive side of the puck. Yeah, that's problems up front, man. That's
yeah,
hard to deal with. That's problems.
no, it is. Natalie Spooner this year, 21 points, tied for the league in points with Philippe Poulin of Montreal and Alex Carpenter right behind them at 20 points for New York. Spooner still leads the league in goals with 15. So yeah, man, it's been fun to watch and see how Toronto is starting to pull away with the lead in the PWHL with the playoffs coming up very, very soon. And before we wrap things up here, guys, any last thoughts here on the first round starting up? Anything you want to see as we continue the first round in these games here, Jason, Troy?
Troy, I was
Would it be
talking for
too
a
much
long
to ask?
time. Yeah,
Would it be too much to ask for a goalie fight?
a goalie fight. What two goalies?
This is gonna get ugly.
Yeah, which ones?
Um, which ones? Ah, jeez. I don't know. I think Calvin Picard looks like he can throw some haymakers.
Picard. So you're saying Picard and Cal and Cam Talbot?
Yeah, maybe that game will get ugly enough for them to throw down. But no. Other than that, I'm just looking forward to some good hockey. Hopefully, some really good hockey. Everyone but the Islanders because they play boring hockey. Um, I wish all the Canadian teams the best. And honestly, I probably wouldn't legit put any money. I wouldn't put any money on any of these games just yet. At least not for any of these guys still doing game ones and game twos. Just because it's still kind of a bit of a feeling out process. So if anything, I would do like free bets, but I don't know. Don't want anybody to Dante Porter themselves. So.
Wow.
Sorry, I think that's back-to-back weeks where I took a shot at Dante Porter. My bad.
I
He
mean,
he had that coming.
That guy.
He has that coming.
That guy.
I mean, yo, how are you going to crash out the NBA over 22K, man? Crash out the NBA for $22,000. Yo, this boy is dumb.
Yeah, that guy. I don't know what he was thinking there, bro. I don't know what he was thinking there. I really don't know. In regards to the playoffs, yeah, I just want to see good hockey. I just want to see the Leafs win in six and continue to go on in a long run, a long run, a long grueling run. You know what I'm saying? And just bring some joy to the city. And who knows, maybe we might get an Edmonton Toronto Cup.
Yo,
Here's hoping.
yo, this show is not handling those two teams in the cup final. Just know
The
that.
show is
Just
definitely
know that.
handling those teams in the final. That's gonna be so dope. That's gonna be so dope. Oh
See,
yeah, I can't wait.
See, things are calm. See, things are calm now with me at the helm. Yo, when Dave gets back, Dave gets back at the Edmonton Toronto series, it's gonna get real loud in here. Yo, you
Oh,
both know
for
that.
sure. For sure. I can't wait. I can't wait. But no, man, we just want good hockey, man. The officiating and good officiating. Like last night, there were
Yes,
some bullshit
that
calls.
too.
Yeah, we're really quickly like there. We just want like even officiating down the field. Like if you're gonna call something one way, make sure you call it the other way too. Just don't call it one way. You know what I'm saying? Because that could definitely alter the outcome of games. Like this happened today in the Florida game because I seen the penalty that they allege Nick Paul did, and to me that wasn't a penalty. I don't know when you guys get a chance to look at the play, but to me it wasn't a penalty. But apparently the officials thought it was a penalty, and it wasn't, right? So and that kind of altered the game because I think Florida ended up scoring on that power play with their lethal power play, right? So Yeah, just keep the officiating straight, man. Just keep it straight, equal down the middle, so that we can see the players play at an elite level in this environment. You know what I mean? If you're gonna let something go one way, let it go the other way, type stuff, man. Like, don't just be one-sided with biasness, man.
Yeah, no, I hear. Yeah, you want some consistent officiating. That's what I think we all want come this postseason here. I know it's early, but hey, no matter if it's the first round, second round, conference finals, cup final, it's what we want. No matter what round, what game. So we'll wrap things up here on the third intermission. Bit of a shorter show, but we'll get you guys some more content during the week here. I'm sure we'll do some more. We'll do some more Twitter Spaces, some post game stuff. We'll get some more guests on. We got a lot more content coming for you ahead top this spring and summer. And like always, thank you all for letting us grace the space in between your head top. For Avery, we got Troy and Jason, and we are out of here. Deuces.
Drink your water. Yeah, man. Water off a drink.